Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about being more receptive, be more open-minded, be of more open body. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest as often as you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class coming into a seated frame. Let's begin in Sukhasana and let's lead today with the left leg in front of the right. Sit up nice and tall, making sure that your bum bones are equally weighted into the mat, and place spider fingertips on the mat alongside you, maybe in line with your hip just behind your leg line. We're going to begin with a few soft bum thumps just to wake up the energy in the body. Push off your fingertips, lifting your bum off the mat, and then softly thump it into the mat and gently begin lifting and lowering your bottom off the mat, thumping it softly into the mat and beginning to shake the energy through all 9 chakras awake, thumping and waking up from your pubic bone all the way to your crown. Soft little thumping motions into the mat, keeping that nice tall spine throughout. Let's do 2 more. Then walk your fingertips away from your body line behind you. I'm just thinking of taking a gentle arcing flow into your spine as you open up your chest center to the sky. Think of opening up all of the lower chakras, all the way from your pubic bone, through the reproductive organs, through your belly center, through your chest center, maybe even through your throat, and gently peeking up to the sky. Then creep your way back towards the midline. Take a big breath in and take a soft twist to the right, using the left palm to gently push the left knee away as you peek over the right shoulder. Take a few moments here, just gently prizing the inner thighs open, thinking of gently beginning to open up through the hip flexors. Inhale, find your way back to center. Twist softly to the left, using the right palm to gently prize the right thigh a little bit more open, thinking of trying to bring your whole leg line as close to the floor as your body wants to play. And you might be more open, more receptive on one side. Just notice it. Don't attach too much worth to it. Gently bring yourself back to the center line and float your legs into a soft butterfly line. Soles of the feet together. Place the hands on the floor behind you and begin a slow butterfly flap. Bringing the knees closer towards your ear line and then making them heavy towards the floor. Just keep the feet softly clipped together. They can fall apart and back together as you play with that gentle butterfly line. Then maybe coming to stillness and beginning to rock bum cheek to bum cheek, maybe trying to ground one knee into the floor as you rock off center, side to side, opening up the body gently. Easing your way back towards the center line, maybe taking an opportunity to wrap your hands around your feet, overlaying one hand on top of the other, and starting to hold your butterfly line. Make those knees nice and heavy to the floor. At the same time, send energy down into the mat through your 2 bum bones and try to lengthen through your spine as much as you can. Drop those shoulders away from your ears. Feel that lengthening and that opening begin to happen through the body. Then ease your way back into Sukhasana, easy sit, this time right leg in front of left. Take it to some bum thumps, just gently lifting and lowering, maybe on an active exhale. So take a nice tall seat, big breath in. We're going to twist to the left, pushing the right knee and inner thigh away from you. Holding the twist, using your left hand, those fingertips are on the mat behind you to just try and give yourself the longest spine that you can. Use it as a little prop. Inhale, bleed your way back to center and take your twist to the other side. Using the left palm to just gently prise the inner thigh and the left knee closer towards the floor. Find your way back to center and ease your way into your butterfly. Fingertips on the floor as you play with that slow butterfly flap, bringing the knees up towards the sky and then softly dropping them to the floor, giving the pelvis an opportunity to open up gently. And then beginning to rock your weight side to side, bum cheek to bum cheek. Come to stillness along the midline. Wrap around your feet with your hands, overlaying one hand on top of the other. Knees heavy to the floor, shoulders and collar dropping towards the floor. Bum bones anchoring into the mat while lengthening your whole spine and your crown up towards the ceiling. Get that sense of duality, energy traveling down and up simultaneously. From here, we're going to ease our way. You can think deep squat, but opening up into more of a midway plie line from here. Gently place the fingertips on the mat behind you. Step the feet nice and wide. Walk up. Find your way into a midway squat and just begin to pulse the body up and down. So you can think soft goddess line or mini plie if you like, and you're just going to begin pulsing the body up and down, resting your hands on the top of your thighs. As the body starts opening up, you can maybe begin creeping the feet further apart, maybe even giving me a tap to the floor with your fingertips and then back up. So starting to open a little bit more aggressively into the inner thighs, if you like, or maybe just staying, pulsing and placing your hands on the thighs. So just see how your body feels. Open up gently. Don't force anything on your body that it isn't ready for right now. If this feels good, maybe you can begin swaying the energy side to side. So think mini side lunge. Just resting the hands on the top of your thighs or just gently floating them. And then start to come lower and lower to the mat. Maybe ending with a little side lunge to the left. Hanging here. If this feels good, maybe bringing it into full skandasana. You can either keep your anchoring left foot on the floor or you can bring the heel off the floor if you prefer. Try to peel the right toes off the mat and just hang here for a bit. Fingertips softly connected to the mat. Give the groin an opportunity to just open up. You could even take a block and place it underneath your bum and sit into the block if you find that coming low to the floor is not happening for you today. Then maybe using this as an opportunity to take a soft rotational twist to the left, tucking your back toe under, planting your right hand underneath your right shoulder and just taking a soft rotational twist towards your left leg, opening up your left arm into T and just pausing here. Back toes are tucked under. Keep opening up gently into the groin area, into your chest center as well. Breathe as deeply as you can into the ribs. Ease your way softly back to center. Find that little plie line, so maybe bringing the feet in and begin to pulse up and down. Maybe the groin area is a little bit more released now, so you can find a wider stance as you pulse the body up and down. Maybe you'd like to tap to the floor and back. Play where you're comfortable. Sync your movements to your breath. And then maybe begin to sway side to side, surreptitiously creeping those feet further apart as you play with that side squat lunge, Sahaya Ardha Malasana. Trying to come lower and lower to the floor and maybe ending in that side lunge and morphing from your side lunge into Skandasana. Peeling the toes of your extended leg off the mat. Maybe just using soft spider fingertips on the mat to give your body a chance to just open up as you think heavy bum bones to the mat. Take a soft rotational twist to the right. Opening up into a soft twist. Give yourself a moment or two here. And then release from here into a low lunge line facing the top end of the mat. So relax your back knee. You can keep the toes tucked under, or maybe if you like, you can just relax the toes into the mat. I'm going to keep toes tucked under. You're going to push your lead thigh away and just take a few moments here to feel an opening through your lower belly, through your chest center. And then maybe starting to arc and open up through your throat center as you look up towards the sky. Give yourself a few generous breaths here. Ease your way back to center. We're going to find our way from here into a high lunge. Place your fingertips on the mat. See if you can bring the back knee off the floor and begin to just gently sway the weight back and forth. So almost balancing on the big toe and maybe the second toe as you lean the weight forward, and then pushing the weight back into your heels and just playing with that slow sway back and forth. Maybe coming to stillness and holding your high lunge. Sinking down through the pelvis, opening up generously. Maybe if your hands can connect, giving me a flat palm on either side. Otherwise, keep high fingertips. We're going to ease our way from here into a pigeon line. Ekapada Dayaka Potasana. Readjust the front leg so that you've got knee and ankle either in a straight line or tucking closer towards the perineum. Relax both legs to the floor and then slide, walk, or creep the back leg away. Gently rock the weight side to side. And then using your spine as your midway point, try to even out the body weight on both sides of the spine so it feels like you're even through the shoulders, even through the hips. Stay in your high lunge, or maybe you'd like to take an opportunity to either come onto the elbows or maybe fully extend the body, trying to drop your forehead down to the floor and open up even a little bit more through the pelvis. Just see how your body feels playing either low or high to the mat. The whole time trying to connect to that inner gyroscope and just finding that sense of evenness on both sides of the body. If you were in a low pigeon, make your way into a high pigeon with your fingertips softly connected to the mat. You're going to lean off center to the right and take a seat into your right bum bone. Look over the back shoulder for that back leg. Swing it to the front and find your way into a seated half a happy baby by hugging that foot with either reaching with either one hand or both hands, reaching for the undercarriage of your foot and just starting to gently hug or coax your knee to come closer towards your armpit. Give yourself a couple of dynamic movements here and then maybe hold that stretch. Your right leg is tucked almost into a Sukhasana-like fold with the heel just tucked in nice and close to the perineum. Then maybe beginning to morph into rock the baby, Hindulasana, by holding onto your left foot with your right hand, supporting the knee and the shin bone with the left hand, and starting to hug your ankle and your shin closer towards your chest. As the body starts opening up, you can maybe bring that leg in closer by placing your foot into the crook of your right arm Maybe hugging that thigh closer towards your chest, allowing for a soft back line. And then maybe just hugging in and holding. We're going to use this rock the baby to find our way into a double pigeon line, Agni Stambhasana. The angle of your bottom leg is quite important. We had it tucked in quite close to the perineum. Try to move it slightly further away from you so that it's more or less in line with the front edge of your mat. And then overlay your top leg on the bottom leg. So you should have a nice little triangle between both legs, and then just begin to gently lean the weight forward. You're not in easy sit. The feet are further away from your body line. You've got a nice little triangle between both legs. You're thinking knee and ankle in a nice straight line, and you're trying to overlay one leg on top of the other as you gently lean the body weight forward. If this feels good, maybe taking your left palm, pushing the left knee open slightly. Maybe you'd like to place hands on both knees as you lean forward. And if your body is nice and receptive, you could maybe find your way onto the forearms, keeping that double pigeon line. Just play with it, see where your body needs to be. Give yourself a few generous breaths here, breathing as deeply as you can into the back of your ribs. Then gently peel up into a high seat. Reach for your left foot with your left hand and extend the leg away from you. If you can't fully extend the leg, you could maybe just hold behind your knee. Think modified half a happy baby, but hugging in that whole thigh towards your chest. Or you could use a belt or a strap around your foot to just open up. Heron, Krachasana. From here, we're going to find our way into rocker. Just make sure that you've got enough mat behind you to rock. So if you need to, readjust your position on the mat. Maybe scooching forward just a little bit. You're going to bend both legs, grab behind the thighs, maybe bracing softly into your feet. Hollow out your belly, round out your back, and begin to rock up and down like a little rocking chair. Make sure that you're not bruising your spine by making sure you're giving me a nice C-curve frame on the spine as you gently rock up and down. If rocking is not for you, just gently make your way onto your back. Once you've eased onto the back, bend the knees. See if you can reach for the undercarriage of your feet. If that's not possible, maybe just hugging the back of your thighs and think knee to chest. Yeah, we're coming into a full happy baby, Ananda Balasana. If you find that your tailbone has peeled up off the mat, try to make your whole sacrum and your lower back heavy into the mat, and then just hold your frame. You're tugging down on the feet. You're making those knees nice and heavy. As the knees come towards your chest, allow them to splay around your chest, aiming for your armpit. You're really tight. You could perhaps try just rocking the weight side to side, giving your lower back, your sacrum, your whole pelvic area an opportunity to open up gently. Keep your chin and your neckline soft and relaxed. We're going to find our way from here into Kapokasana, a little figure 4. Think bridge, drop the soles of your feet to the mats. Give your lower back an opportunity to relax. And then take the right ankle, rest it on the left thigh, and open up your knee to the side of the room. Take a big breath in and draw your left knee up to 90. Maybe you need to tap to the mat and come back a few times just to prepare the pelvis. And then when you feel like the joints are warm enough, hold that stretch. Maybe taking a big breath in and peeling your weight up off the shoulders to look through between your legs. Then take your hands, wrap them around your left thigh, maybe interlacing and making a little basket. And then start to connect your head and your shoulders to the mat, softly thinking of drawing your left knee closer towards your nose. Then maybe begin to bend and extend through the left leg. opening up that tight little kink behind your knee. When the joints feel nicely warmed, see if you can hold that extended leg line. The whole time you're keeping that chin and that neckline nice and soft. And then using this figure 4 to find your way into an extended half lotus line, Ardha Padmasana. Unbind from the back of your leg. Reach for your right foot and see if you can tuck it in closer towards the perineum, coming into a half lotus line. Maybe even taking an opportunity to relax the left leg to the floor and holding on to that right foot. Just make your right knee as heavy as you can to the floor. Give yourself a moment or two here in your modified half lotus. And then gently bring that left leg back up to the sky. In one sweeping motion, keeping this half lotus line, see if you can rock up to a seated frame. Tuck that heel in nice and close towards the perineum and see if you can softly fold forward, maybe to bind to that foot, or maybe to just place your fingertips on the mat. Maybe you want to connect to your thigh or your shin bone. Maybe you've got a strap or a towel that you can use as a prop to loop around your foot. Give yourself a couple of gentle moments here. You are going to feel a stretch into the top of the right foot. You are going to feel a little bit of pressure on your left thigh with that right foot digging into it. Make your right knee nice and heavy to the floor and just hold the stretch. Give yourself a couple of generous breaths here, breathing nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. Then peel up. Extend both legs out in front, maybe giving them a little shake out if they need to. Find your way into staff pose with the feet. Let's open them up about hip width distance apart. Stand up nice and tall and float the arms out in front, palms more or less in line with your shoulders. We're going to play with a little seesaw action. L lean forward and an L lean back. Exhaling as you come forward, inhaling as you lean back. Then the next time you lean back, place the hands on the floor behind you, bend your knees, scoot your belly up to the sky, and come into a little tabletop hold. Maybe you'd like to sway the weight back and forth. And then come to stillness somewhere between the two, so it feels like your weight is evenly balanced between the arms and the legs. Try not to drop your bum, so use those glutes, use those hamstrings, use those quads. Try to keep your feet and your knees hip width distance apart. Then as you begin softening through the bum and find your way back to the mat, take your feet nice and wide, walk yourself up into a deep squat line, maybe placing both hands on the floor, or maybe you'd like to use your elbows to push those thighs open, maybe even bringing your hands to prayer mudra in front of your heart. Play with it, either hands together, or maybe little cactus hands pushing open, maybe fingertips on the floor. Experiment, see what you need to do. You could even gently sway your body weight side to side if you feel that that helps you open up gently through the groin. We're going to ease our way from this squat line into child pose, but we're going to keep the legs in parallel when we do so. Think of placing your hands on the mat. Step into a 4-point kneeling frame. Check that your legs are parallel. Soften them. And then sit back, bum to heels, and softly extend the arms on the mat in front of you. Pause here, taking a little stretch. And then dynamically come through 4-point kneeling. Bump the weight forward over your wrists, coming into a modified kneeling up dog. And then begin to oscillate dynamically between your child, sit back, and your kneeling up dog. Make sure that you're not collapsing and hanging on your shoulders. So you're strong through the arms, strong through the belly as you push through. Maybe giving yourself 4 or 5 little push throughs, feeling that stretch and that opening into the lower belly. Gently leaning forward, and then start to slide your legs out, easing your way into tadpole. Knees are splayed out wide, feet are coming closer towards the midline of the body, and you're going to try to wrap your feet around your bum, sitting your bum bones down onto the floor, and then see if you can walk your hands behind you, maybe placing them on the mat, and coming into a little heart and chest opening pose here, pushing off your hands, opening up your throat center and looking up towards the sky. All of your chakras open and receptive. Peeling your way back, hands in front of you. We're going to change the leg line. You're going to think knees together, feet apart as you think of coming into Hero Virasana. Maybe wiggling the legs in closer. Think knees coming closer towards the midline, feet softly stayed up, and the knees don't need to touch. Seeing if you can sit back between the feet. If that's not happening for you, maybe taking a block or a cushion, placing it behind you, and then sitting back into it. If you feel good in Hero, maybe finding an opportunity to open up through your chakras again, maybe leaning back on the hands and opening up. Maybe you'd like to even drop down onto the elbows or the forearms and think of opening up from there. So just play where you're comfortable. Take a few generous breaths here. Feel that stretch into the thighs. Feel that stretch into the groin area. Hero Virasana. From Hero, you're going to find your way into Thunderbolt, Vajrasana. So when you're ready and in no rush at all, you're going to peel up into a high seat, thinking of bringing your feet together, flush along the midline, your knees flush along the midline, sitting back if you can, or coming into a high kneeling frame if you prefer, and find your way into Lotus Mudra by bringing the pinkies together, the thumbs together, the base of your palms are touching, and the fingertips are just open towards the sky. Take a seat or a high kneel, close your eyes, take your focus inward, and use this as an opportunity to just touch base, make sure that your body and your mind is open and receptive. Lotus Mudra, Padmasana, symbolizes symbolically that you're ready to open up your mind, open up your body, to be receptive to everything that the universe has to offer. Just give yourself a few quiet moments here, keeping your breathing long, soft, and even. A mini timeout in the middle of your vinyasa, your movement. Then gently flutter open your eyes. Bring the two palms together in prayer mudra. Come into a high kneel and find your way into a low lunge on the left by stepping forward. Maybe pushing the top thigh away, starting to get a little stretch into the back. Hip flexor on the right. Then maybe dropping your fingertips to the mat, tucking your back toe under, and starting to find that high lunge, that Sirsangustasana sway back and forth. We're not in a rush. We're giving our body, we're giving our mind an opportunity to open up. Maybe holding steady, trying to connect both palms to the mat, and just holding that high lunge line. Make sure you've got knee over ankle so that your joints are supported in the lunge line. You're going to use the high lunge to ease your way into pigeon when you're ready. Readjust your lead leg, find the angle that works for you, then relax the back leg to the floor as well. Slide, walk, creep away, and then begin to gently Sway your weight side to side. Begin to connect to your inner gyroscope and start to look for that sense of being even on the right and the left side of the body. Either keeping your high lunge line, or maybe you'd like to bring it down onto the elbows. Maybe you'd like to creep closer to the floor and open up more through the pelvis, thinking of softly dropping down onto your third eye and just holding. Wherever you decide to play, look for that sense of evenness through the body and hold your pigeon of choice. Breathing nice and deeply, relaxing into the stretch, giving your body time to open up. If you were in a low pigeon, make your way onto the elbows and then onto the tips of your fingers and begin to lean the weight into your left bum cheek. We're going to find our way into a seated half a happy baby. Swing that back leg around, reach for the undercarriage of your foot, maybe with one hand or maybe with both hands, and just begin to hug that knee in towards your armpit. Give yourself a couple of dynamic movements here. And then maybe tuck in and hold. Looking for a nice long line through your spine while holding onto that foot with one or with both hands. Then morphing from here into rock the baby. Start to bring the whole foot and the shin line closer towards your chest, maybe holding opposite hand to foot, supporting your knee and your shin, and gently begin to rock that whole thigh. Get a sense of where are the tight spaces that you need to open up and begin to move into those areas of tightness. Then maybe using the crook of your left arm, inserting the right foot into it, finding a tighter bind, maybe even interlacing and rocking. And at the same time, beginning to almost hug and hold that thigh closer towards your chest. Maybe looking for a moment of stillness and control. Allow for a soft back line, stretching and opening into the shoulders at the same time. And then think of your leg line on the mat. Start to bring your bottom leg further away from you and try to overlay the top leg on the bottom leg, coming into double pigeon, and just begin by leaning the weight forward. So you're almost softly pushing off your fingers and almost thinking of hooking your chin over the edge of your mat as you lean forward. If you're really tight on the top leg, you can use your hand to just gently coax that leg open. Maybe even leaning one or both hands onto the floor. Breathe as deeply as you can into the back of your ribs. Give yourself a couple of moments here in Agnisthambasana, double pigeon. Try to keep your breathing soft and relaxed. Don't tense it up. Don't make it short and choppy. Peel up and find your way into a heron line. Reach for the undercarriage of your right foot. Extend the leg away. Or if you need to, think of just hugging the back of that thigh in towards your chest. Give yourself a moment here in Crouchasana, heron. Make sure you've got enough runway behind you. When you're ready, you're going to find your way using rocker, ease your way onto the back. So maybe holding onto the back of your thighs, making a little rocking chair-like frame. Hollow out your belly, round out your back, and begin to gently rock back and forth. Maybe 4 or 5 gentle rocks. And then come into a full happy baby on the floor, reaching for the undercarriage of your feet as you find your way onto the back. Maybe you need to sway the weight back and forth. Maybe your body's already open and receptive and you can just hold the frame, trying to make your tailbone and your whole sacrum area nice and heavy into the mat. Give yourself a few moments here in Ananda Balasana, happy baby. Then when you're ready, you're going to find your figure 4 Kapukasana on the left. Relax the soles of both feet to the mat. Give your lower back an opportunity to just relax. And then take your left ankle, rest it on the right thigh, just softly splaying the knee out to the side of the room. And then maybe giving me some dynamic draws on the right, thinking knee to nose. Maybe 4 or 5 soft up and down motions with the right leg. And then when you're ready, hold that stretch. Scoop to peel up off the shoulders, look through your thighs, and then maybe bleed your hands through to bind around that right thigh. See if you can coax your head and your shoulders back to the mat without tensing up your neck and your jawline. Hold the stretch. That feels good. Start to play with your right foot. Float it up to the sky and bend again. Give yourself a few dynamic movements here. And then when you're ready, hold the stretch. Keep your breathing soft and relaxed. Then using this bigger frame, you're going to come to your modified half lotus. Unbind from the back of your right thigh. Reach for the left foot and tuck it in as close towards the inside of your right hip bone as you can. Then bring that whole right leg down to the floor and just hold the stretch here. Maybe you're holding with both hands, maybe just with one hand, trying to make that left knee as heavy as you can to the floor, allowing for a comfortable neutral spine position, and just giving yourself a couple of moments here, seeing what the stretch feels like. Is it working for you today? Yes or no? Coming back into that figure 4 shape, you're going to use the figure 4 shape and see if you can rock up into a seated frame. Tucking in nice and close, you're going to come into a half lotus forward fold, a modified Uttanasana, and just hold your stretch. Getting a nice little stretch into the left ankle, into the top of your left foot, opening up beautifully through the pelvis, getting a little bit of a massage into the right thigh. Breathe as deeply as you can into the back of your ribs. Then unbind. Extend the legs out, give them a little shake out. Make sure that your feet are at least hip width distance apart. And set up your staff line, Dandasana. Float the arms out in front, and when you're ready, exhale to lean forward. Inhale to lean back. Make sure that you're not collapsing your frame and that you're keeping your hands up nice and high, and use your inhale and exhale. Giving me almost a little pumping like motion. Then the next time you lean back, you're going to find your way into a tabletop line, bending the knees, floating your belly up to the sky, maybe rocking the weight back and forth. And then coming to stillness somewhere between the two and trying to hold that tabletop line with the weight distribution equal on your arms and your legs. You've got your glutes engaged, your hamstrings, your quads, your lower belly is working. Then as you start relaxing out of that tabletop frame, you're going to find a deep squat. So take an opportunity to step your legs wide, walk your weight up, find your way into your squat line. Maybe hands on the floor, maybe little cactus hands, maybe hands in prayer. Maybe you want to sway the weight side to side. And the feet are either grounded into the mat, or you can come into more of a haunch-like position. You could even wedge the block underneath your heels, or you can place a block underneath your bum as you come to the squat line. Hold Malasana, making those bum bones nice and heavy to the mat. And when you're ready, you're going to find your way from here into child, but you're going to keep your legs in parallel. So think 4-point kneeling, then think bum to heel, Arms are draped on the mat in front of you. Then begin dynamically moving, coming through 4-point kneeling, bumping the weight forward over your wrists, coming into a kneeling up dog, and then push back into child. Just give yourself a few rocks forward and backward. Make sure you're strong through the shoulders, strong through your belly center. End with the weight forward. Think of almost coming into a crocodile cobra by stepping up on one side. Find your crocodile cobra line. We played with this one last week. Replicate it on the other side, and then start tucking your heels in closer towards the midline. Begin to sit back, trying to position yourself so that your bum bones are connected to the mat and your feet are softly wrapped around your bum. Then see if you can feed your hands to the mat behind you, pushing off your fingertips, opening up from your bottom chakra, from the Muladhara chakra, all the way through the reproductive organs, your belly center, your chest center, your throat center, your third eye, opening up the crown, all 9 chakras open and receptive. Then think about how you're going to find your way from here into Hero Virasana. So you're going to think of softly reversing the leg line. Come back to center, maybe placing your hands on the floor. Think of bringing the knees closer, opening up the feet, and finding a sit through if you can manage it. Maybe floating the hands to the floor behind you. As you come into Virasana, maybe you'd like to come onto the elbows, or you could even come into a full recline position if you like. Find what works for you and just gently hold. Open up all the energy centers in the body. Then bleed your way from here into thunderbolts, or if you'd like to end your practice in corpse pose, savasana, make your way onto the back. Splaying yourself softly open like a little starfish. Otherwise, ease yourself into the Jasana, thunderbolt. Knees together, feet together, sitting back on your feet, or maybe placing a block underneath your feet. Find your way into Lotus Mudra. Thumb tips touching, pinky tips touching. All 10 fingers open and looking up to the sky. Close your eyes, take your focus inward, and give yourself a couple of soft, relaxed breaths here. Think of the symbolism of your little lotus bloom. Visualize a beautiful white lotus bloom floating on its bright green lily pad in the middle of the pond, with your white petals open and receptive to that sun, taking in the energy of the sun and translating that energy through the process of photosynthesis into growth. As you internalize that image, think of it not just as mental and physical, mental growth, but also physical growth, opening up your body at the same time that you're opening up your mind. Remember that to be truly receptive, you need to be able to listen openly without judgment. Don't close yourself off from all the abundance, good and bad, that the universe has to offer. It's not just the good, but also the bad that makes you learn, makes you grow. With that thought, close off your practice for today by bringing your hands together in prayer mudra, maybe tapping your fingertips to your nose on the words Namaste. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Shoot me your comments. Make sure your notifications are on. Be ready to work and play on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.